If this was another genre like entertainment news, this would have millions and millions of views. This is a masterpiece. This man.
They're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating in Springfield. They're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country, and it's a shame.
If this was another...
That's right, global African supremacy. That gas, baby. Got to have that gas if you're gonna make it move.
Don't make me do it, Tariq, I know all your secrets. I spoke to all those and knew you, don't make me leak it. Yeah. I know people from Alabama from the year of 86. I even know the cop that locked you up and made you flip. I know who got you the ticket and flew you to LA. I know the facility they trained you in, please don't make a say. One more cheap shot, I'll expose it all. I know the relationship between your mom and pa. I know your father abandoned you and Miss Shirley took you in. All the tears behind the grin can't wash away the sin. They used you at 17 and they using you at 56. They use you in that stain when they got all them bricks. Is it all worth it living in fear? Looking over your shoulder every day of the year. You built a prison around yourself for you and your fam. And if I'm forced to expose you, everyone would get jammed. You built a prison around yourself for you and your fam. And if I'm forced to expose you, everyone would get jammed. You built a prison around yourself for you and your fam. And if I'm forced to expose you, everyone would get jammed. You built a prison around yourself for you and your fam. And if I'm forced to expose you, everyone would get jammed. We know about Peanut and her deepest fears. We know how you try to hide a name for years. We know she FDA, but it gets much worse. We know when you met, and we know her date of birth. You done broke the
right,
so may as well pay up. All them sleepless nights popping pills, stay up.
Baby.
We can make this easier, we
Got
can
to
make
have that
hard.
gas.
Cut the check and we can
You
disregard.
gonna make it move.
If not, you can expect to hear your darkest secrets. And I got the receipts to back up what I'm speaking. You built a prison around yourself for you and your fam. And if I'm forced to expose you, everyone would get jammed. You built a prison around yourself for you and your fam. And if I'm forced to expose you, everyone would get jammed. You built a prison around yourself for you and your fam. And if I'm forced to expose you, everyone would get jammed. You built a prison around yourself for you and your fam. And if I'm forced to expose you, everyone would get jammed.
Yes, y'all. Yes, y'all. When I was young, I didn't know what they were saying when they were saying that. Yes, y'all. I thought it was a slang, but they was really saying yes. Yes, y'all. You don't stop. Yes, y'all. Anyway, welcome to another edition of Moorish World TV. How do my mic sound, family? Oh, we about to get busy. I know y'all sitting up there getting ready with your bird, getting your family, getting right with your bird. I know what you're doing. Ain't nothing wrong with it. But while you cooking your bird, let me give you a word. You know what I'm talking about? Let me give you a word, family. At the end of the day, right? Listen. If anybody want to blame somebody, I need y'all to email Dr. Asar Winkler. Allow me to explain. At one time, I would only do shows and research on those who would come at me sideways. So say, for instance, I would do research on Grandmaster Jay. And from that research, Big Shirley will come at me sideways after she come on the show. And then from that, another person be on the show, then they try to swindle somebody, and then they come at me sideways. And then another, and then it just goes on and on and on and on. The Tariq Nasheed issue, as it relates to social media, I simply was questioning the legitimacy of FBA. That's it. I wasn't antagonizing. I'm like, what is this FBA? And like, oh, another new name for us. We went from Negro, black, colored, Moor, Hebrew, a whole bunch of other stuff, and Afro-American, African-American, now FBA, Foundation of Black America, ADOS. I'm like, what is this new stuff? And so I genuinely was questioning it, and, you know, he went nuts, and it went off the deep end. And we done a series and continue to do a series on the new developments. But with that being said, Dr. Assar told me one day, he said, T-Bay, he said, T-Bay, won't you just research whatever is out there that don't look right? Just go ahead. I say, well, you know, nah, man, you know, I don't like to jump into too many lanes, too many topics. He said, nah, if it ain't right and you got the research, you let the people know. So I was watching the last few years, Wesley Muhammad. You know what I'm saying? I was watching the last few years, and I couldn't understand why he would jump into the arena and justify, and I'm not going to say justify, wrong word. Let me say he would jump in the arena and defend the NOI as it relates to having anything to do with Malcolm's death. Now, I didn't understand that because I'm saying to myself, in my opinion, I'm saying to myself, it's clear that it's a joint effort. You know what I'm saying? It was the authorities but nobody ever seen it that way. They always got to say it's one or the other. It's the government. It's the government. It's the white supremacists. Or it's Nation of Islam. It's Nation of Islam. And they can't fathom the idea that the Nation of Islam was in cahoots with the government at that time. Now, I know brothers in the Nation of Islam are going to be upset. I get it. But, hey, that's the spirit of the Nation of Islam. When you disagree with the NOI, they get upset. I mean, and anytime you have a conversation about the NOI, regardless of the conversation that, in this case, Wesley Muhammad put forth, they're going to get mad at you for responding. But who else responds for Malcolm? Who else gives another perspective for Malcolm? You know what I'm saying? And then the wild thing about it is, it seems to me that all the people that wrote, a lot of Europeans have wrote books, did presentations about Malcolm X, and that one of the culprits or the sole culprit is the Nation of Islam. But you never hear any chatter, anything about them wanting to do something to these Europeans. But the moment that we melanated, your brother said, here is my take on it. You're going to get threats. You're going to get, I'm going to punch you in your face. You know what I mean? Wait till I see you. You're going to get all that. But over the years, from 65 till now, you've never seen anyone go at European reporters, European researchers, or European commentators. Never. Not one time. Name one. Name one. But I can tell you what. I can tell you that I've been threatened. You know what I'm saying? It's all good. They come with the territory because I understand it. Once you understand, understanding is the rock on which you build anything. You know what I mean? You gotta understand what you're talking about, and you know what comes with the territory. But at the end of the day, that's the real deal. You don't get that when it comes to Europeans talking about these topics. It's, that's just their opinion. But when it comes to us, wait till I see you. I'm going to pull up. Like all that old junk. You know what I mean? I'm going to pull up. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. You know what I mean? But long story short, now, shout out to Unbiased Boxing, man. Unbiased Boxing, he put some good comments out there about bombing the house. And another brother put a video, gave me a link where supposedly Elijah Muhammad denies with the girl. So I've decided now that I need to do a whole presentation to break down those who said that Elijah Muhammad fathered the children. Just stick straight to that topic. I'm very topic based. You know what I mean? Just stick straight to that topic and look at the evidence. But let me get back to Brother Wesley. Listen, you can't get upset if I choose to address this, you know, when you look at something like this. Not this one. Let me go to another one real quick. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This is Westley Muhammad. Give me 1 second. This is Wesley Muhammad. This is 7 years ago on Vlad. The same one, the white man, the devil, 7 years ago. NOI, Wesley Muhammad's. Malcolm X was in violation of Black God protocol. On Vlad TV. Malcolm X was in violation of Black God protocol. And you mean tell me that I can't come back and do commentary on something like this? You took it to this is 7 years ago you was talking about this. 7 years ago. And it's been 7 years, and you mean tell me you ain't say take that down? You mean tell me that you ain't say hold up, I really don't want it to read like that? But that is a quote from you. That's a quote from you with the one that they suspect sending young brothers to the pen because they're making confessions on his show. 7 years. Now, don't get mad at me because of my opinion or my commentary. Don't get mad at me. I'll accept the debate. I'll accept the debate with anybody on the topic. Let's just make it civil. Let's go 3 years ago. Still talking about it. Wesley Muhammad talks Malcolm X and the wives of the messenger and the 3 violations and more. And I'm saying that nobody has come forth with any social media type critical thinking. You know what I mean by social media type critical thinking? Social media type critical thinking means that I'm going to address this in a way that social media plays the game. We're going to put a little hype into it. We're going to put a little rah-rah into it, and we're going to put some scholarship into it, and we're going to walk it down. PowerPoint this thing down. We're not going to act like we super scholars talking these big old words and trying to sound super articulate. Nope. We're going to paint a picture social media style so the people can understand. And so that's what get people upset, but it's all right with me. 2 years ago. 2 years ago. Talking about it. Nobody responds from my perspective, a good social media response. Haven't happened. And just 8 days ago, on Dr. Oya Mayat channel, just 8 days ago. Now you mean tell me, for over 7 years, you can have this conversation, but the moment that someone responds to it, it's hating on the Nation of Islam. It's hating on Elijah Muhammad. Moors don't like Elijah Muhammad. Moors don't like the nation. Moors don't like the... You spoke on this like come on now. No, the thing is that we just like the truth. And if one is putting out there something on social media that is adverse to the truth as which we understand it, then we're going to respond. We're content creators, for goodness sake. We're content creators. So get ready for this content that I created in response to all of these years. Then use a friend of mine. I was told to watch my enemies, now hold my line. Those that speak against the prophet, they speak against me. And I'm speaking about the prophet over Drew Ali, who was the first to remind you and bind you back to Morocco, the mountains, Mississippi, and Quebec. Told you you wasn't black, proved it with straight facts. You tripping off Trump, you need to be tripping off that. Now here we go again, acting like you a slave. The same people talk European how to bathe, and looking at women buying European hair. No love for self, but do the men really care? Hell no, cause they got a love for Europe. Whole generation chasing pills, weed, now cypher. I be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember, that's right. I be that more you gon' remember. To Harker Bay front line till the law call my number. I be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember, that's right. I be that more you gon' remember. To Harker Bay front line till the law call my number. All you super scholars holler, this era for the workers. You ain't building on the ground, then you worse than a twerker. You look and sound good, but that's only on the surface. Probably working for the people. Now tell me what's your purpose. Ain't worried about your homie, but know that I know every mo that rock a fast. He ain't my.
If this was another genre like entertainment news, this shit would have millions and millions of views. This is a masterpiece.
Family, I want
this man.
Yeah, I want to cut that short because I want to get right into it, family. I want to get right into it, family. So, again, Wesley has been talking about this for a long time, a long, long time. And I think it's time that we also talk about it. I think it's time that we also talk about. I'm talking about from a social media scholarship perspective, because most people get it mixed up, right? Shout out to Lex Vortex. If you haven't gone through the Sidnetta drama of social media scholarship, then most people wouldn't know how to address the foolery, the misinformation, the disinformation, and all of that. One thing I can say about Sidnetta, it was so much drama, it was so much nonsense over there. You learn real quick how to navigate, you know what I'm saying, through the foolery, through the nonsense, through the what would you call it? Some people have charisma. They don't have no information, but they have charisma. You know what I mean? And you got to learn how to navigate through that. And I think that's a difference between social media scholarship. It doesn't take away from the scholarship if the truth is the truth. You know what I'm saying? But it actually gives you an edge when you're dealing with social media issues. Now, if you are in a college somewhere and you're talking to college students, you can't bring the social media scholarship style to the college stage. It just won't work because it's some antics and all of that. And so this is why this has got to be addressed from a social media scholarship perspective. And it doesn't minimize the value of the information, but what it does is it gives the viewer with a short attention span, or those without short attention spans, they're going to be here regardless. But the one that may got short attention spans, you just keep the information pumping. Bam, 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 bam. Like me, I got a short attention span. You got to hold my interest. You follow what I'm saying? Got to hold my interest. And so if you like me, you know what I mean, you need that social media type scholarship. And so that's what we're going to give you. So at the end of the day, family, as I said before, we need to understand how this thing played out. Malcolm told us that how this thing was playing out. You follow me? He told us. And most people don't want to pay attention to Malcolm. Malcolm says things like, well, I'm going to stop saying that it was the Nation of Islam because it was the black Muslims because I know what they can and they can't do. However, Malcolm actually seen the quote unquote black Muslims in front of his house and attacking them. The whole thing about it is, I don't even think Malcolm truly put the two and two together that they're working together. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he have, or maybe I haven't seen any clips on that. But it's like everybody wanted to go either or. Either it's the black Muslims or either it's the government. I'm saying they were in it together. You know what I mean? And this is why Malcolm would make that statement. You know what I mean? But when you pay attention to all the evidence, man, it makes it clear what's happening. You know what I'm saying? It makes it clear what's happening. So, and we're going to look at some of it today. So let's start with this here.
I wanted you to know that my house was bombed. It was bombed by the black Muslim movement upon the orders of Elijah Muhammad. Now, they had planned to do it from the front and the back so that I couldn't get out. But had that one gone through that window, it would have fallen on a 6-year-old girl, a 4-year-old girl, and a 2-year-old girl. And I'm going to tell you, if it had done it, I'd taken my rifle and gone after anybody in sight. The only thing that I regret in all of this is that 2 black groups have to fight and kill each other off.
Y'all hear that?
Elijah Muhammad could stop the whole thing tomorrow just by raising his hand.
He said Elijah Muhammad can stop the whole thing tomorrow just by raising his hand.
Yeah, he could. He could stop the whole thing by raising his hand.
Why don't people pick out this type of information? Why don't anybody pick out this type of information? They want to act like Malcolm was delusional or something.
He won't. He doesn't love black people. He doesn't even love his own followers. Proof of which they're killing each other. They killed one in the Bronx. They shot another one in the Bronx. They tried to get 6 of us Sunday morning, and
they say slow down the audio? Okay, let me slow it down for you. I ain't trying to. I'll slow it down a little bit. All right.
I wanted you to know that my house was bombed. It was bombed by the black Muslim movement upon the orders of Elijah Muhammad. Now, they had planned to do it from the front and the back so that I couldn't get out. But had that.
And this is what people don't understand about Malcolm. Malcolm still had people in the Nation of Islam letting him know what was going on, but they wouldn't leave in the Nation of Islam. This is why Malcolm information is so accurate when he says what's going on.
That's fine. Had that one gone through that window, it would have fallen on a 6-year-old girl, a 4-year-old girl, and a 2-year-old girl. And I'm going to tell you, if it had done it, I'd taken my rifle and gone after anybody in sight. The only thing that I regret in all of this is that 2 black groups have to fight and kill each other off. Elijah Muhammad could stop the whole thing tomorrow just by raising his hand. Really, he could. He could stop the whole thing by raising his hand. But he won't. He doesn't love black people. He doesn't even love his own followers. Proof of which they're killing each other. They killed one in the Bronx. They shot another one in the Bronx. They tried to get 6 of us Sunday morning. And the pattern has developed across the country. The man has gone insane.
Now listen. Let's be clear. Let's be clear. When he says that they are killing each other, whenever you look at the history of the Nation of Islam from the 50s all the way up, you don't see any confrontation with Europeans. But what you do find is, as Malcolm is talking about, and we can get a laundry list of these feuds and these attacks, it's always, if you want to call it, black on black or Muslim against someone who disagree with them. But you never, ever, ever, ever find an attack on Europeans. Never. Not one. I don't remember an attack on Europeans. But the attacks that Malcolm is talking about, he's saying like, hold up, we killing each other and we supposed to be conscious. Listen to this.
He doesn't love black people. He doesn't even love his own followers. Proof of which they're killing each other. They killed one in the Bronx. They shot another one in the Bronx. They tried to get 6 of us Sunday morning. And the pattern has developed across the country. The man has gone insane.
Malcolm, listen. Come on. Malcolm is giving a speech indicting. This is a motive. He's indicting the Nation of Islam leader for murders. That's motive. That's motive right there. People like, why would the nation want to kill? What? Like, come on, man. Where we from? Where we from? They be like, why would the nation want to? Elijah Muhammad says, don't put a hand on Malcolm. What else is he supposed to say? What else he supposed to say? He ain't supposed to say, go get him in the public. Y'all act like when people make these foolish arguments, they act like they just woke up yesterday on some hill out in Nebraska somewhere with herding sheep or something. I don't know. They act like they don't have no experience in the real world when they make these arguments. Silly.
Absolutely out of his mind. Besides, You can't be 70 years old and surround yourself by a handful of 16, 17, 18-year-old girls and keep your right mind. Now, I am well aware of what I'm setting in motion by what I'm saying up here tonight. I'm well aware, but I have never said or done anything in my life that I wasn't prepared to suffer the consequences for.
So this is how we start the show. Now, one of the things that Wesley has put out was that the report that the descendants of Malcolm, and I'm not going to go over the report because I did it before, you know what I'm saying? One of the reports that was put out, the report that was put out, or the case, if you will, by the children of Malcolm X, or the family of Malcolm X, Wesley Muhammad would say that, I'm so glad that this came out because he was trying to imply that it vindicates the NOI. And so last show I went over it and I say, no, it doesn't. What are you talking about? Because in the report, one of the things that we know in the report, though, it does have a lot of information that indicts the government. It's a lot of information in there that indicts the FBI, it indicts the CIA, it indicts the White House, it indicts the New York City Police Department, of course. And so Wesley took them little pieces out of this 80-some page report and says that, well, look, see, it's the government, see, it's the government, see, it's the government. You follow me? Now, with that being said, we agree with that, but don't leave out the other part. Don't leave out the other part. And that's the problem with this argument, because they leaving out the other part. Now, let's deal with this. The one that got locked up was, I think his name was Thomas Hagen, whatever. When he got locked up, one of the things that he said is that, and this is a report from 1965, 64, whatever it was, 65. Hager maintained that he had never been a member of Elijah Muhammad followers, nor were he his accomplice to his knowledge. None of them had any personal motive for killing Malcolm X, but they have been hired. And so a person like Wesley Muhammad would take something like this and say, see, I told you. Thomas Hagen tells you himself that he wasn't a member. And it says, for killing Malcolm X. But they had hired to carry out the assassination. He refused to say how much money he had been offered. He said that the man who hired him was not a Muslim either. Hager refused to identify his accomplices or the one who hired them. He did drop one hint about who the latter was in response to a question by Dormady, that's the interviewer, about the identity of a man who offered him money. He said it probably would be revealed if Williams would have been successful, continued his interrogation. Williams is one of the Butler's lawyers who has cross-examined only a few prosecution witnesses. Dormady asked no questions to try to find out from whom Williams could have gotten this information. Now, let's stop right there. Now, at this time, it appears that Thomas Hagen is still protecting Elijah Muhammad. It's protecting the NOI. This is what it appears to be. I'm not saying he is. I'm saying it appears to be. Because clearly he got locked up on the scene. Clearly, later on, he says, yes, I was a Muslim. and under the leadership of Elijah Muhammad. Clearly, he says it. You know what I'm saying? Now, with that being said, this guy, Thomas Hagen, is able to lay out the plan years later.
They pretty much knew what my feelings was in regards to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I had a lot of respect, a lot of love for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I had, no idea really at the time of the validity of what Malcolm was saying, some of the things that he was saying, and I, like most other Muslims at that time, we were referred to as black Muslims back in those days. And most of us felt that Malcolm was just outright lying. So when I was approached in regards to it, and I was asked my feelings in regards to it, I said I thought it was bad. I thought it was just, this is disgrace.
What happened on that day, February 21st, 1965?
That morning, and I would say really the night before.
Khalid Shakur, you can come and debate me on it. I didn't say, I said he was covering. I said it appears. You can debate me on it, Khalid.
Me and the other individuals that I mentioned, we had decided that we was going to move on Malcolm. We was going to kill him if we possibly could on the 21st. And we drew up a strategy, how we was going to go into the ballroom, where we was going to sit, and what we was going to do. And knowing that there would be a crowd there, we figured that it was a possibility that we could do it. That's what we did.
What was that strategy, and what did you do?
Now, when you listen to Thomas Hagen, he breaks down. He breaks down piece by piece of the plan. He breaks it all the way down, piece by piece. Let's listen to him.
Basically, it was for us to first make sure that there would be no searching. So the first of us to approach the door would know that if indeed someone was to search, we would just turn around and we would not enter. But on approaching the ballroom, no one searched, so this meant that we could go right in.
Now stop right there. Are y'all able to hear this? Because it's an old video, but it's kind of muffled. Can y'all hear this? He said when approaching the ballroom, listen to this. Listen to this. I want you to hear it.
Around, and we would not enter. But on approaching the ballroom, no one searched.
No one searched. Now we know who was at the door. Remember, the police had got, listen, remember the police, the police had got Malcolm's security locked up for planning to blow up the Statue of Liberty, if I'm not mistaken. And so they removed them, and then they put themselves on the door, the informants at the door, so they wouldn't be searched. So now we got the informants at the door, and then we got Thomas Hagen, who is a member of the Nation of Islam, actively. Let's put two and two together. Let's put two and two together. If the informants is at the door, Malcolm top bodyguard, and Malcolm is unaware of it, is also an informant. But the brother that's a member, active member of the NOI, pulls the trigger with a couple other brothers in cahoots with the plan. The logic tells me that, hold up, in order for this piece of the puzzle to work, that piece have to work. But they have no control over that piece. Let me say it like this. In order for the FBI, the CIA, and the New York City Police Department to get themselves in position, so to make sure that the member of the Nation of Islam can knock off Malcolm X, they had to plan it together. That only makes sense. That's not a far-fetched idea. That's not far-fetched. You follow me? There's nothing far-fetched about that. But he's not finished talking yet.
So this meant that we could go right in. We are all from out of town. Most of the people didn't recognize us anyway. So we just came in as regular people interested in the
He said, we were all from out of town, from New Jersey.
Program. And our strategy was basically for me and the other brother named to sit down front. The ballroom was broken up into different sections. We sat on the left-hand side in the front. Brother named myself, right in the front row. There was two brothers sitting behind me. And I had a 45, a Ruger.
Now he's telling the story exactly the way eyewitness tells the story. There is no hesitation in how he tells this story.
The sort of shotgun. And our strategy was, as soon as the minister came out to speak, as soon as he opened up his speech, that would fire the shotgun. That myself, we would fire our guns in the direction of Malcolm. And this is exactly what we did. With that, there was another individual who sat in the back. His thing was to cause a distraction. But at the time of when the minister was getting ready to open up, he chewed someone up going into his pocket. And at the same, around the same time, he threw us.
So you can see that this plan was hatched probably weeks and weeks prior. But the whole thing about it is, what I'm going to play for you next is the argument where they say these wasn't members of the Nation of Islam. It's the same thing that they say when Dr. Khaled got shot. They say former members of the Nation of Islam. It's the same thing when the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar people got hit up in D.C. They was former members of the Nation of Islam. It's always former members when the drama kick off. Anybody ever notice that? It's a pattern.
Smoke bomb to cause a little distraction, right? And basically, this is what we did. So we went in, and we did just that.
So he said we went in and we did just that. Family, if this is the killer, right? If this is the main killer that end up getting locked up, right? And he tells you exactly what happened, why are we still having this conversation? Now the whole thing about it, if you want to try to add to it, if you still want to add to it and try to figure out how the FBI and the CIA and New York City police got in cahoots with these people, then that's another separate investigation. But at the same time, we know without a doubt or contradiction, here it goes.
The assassination of conspiracy concocted by the Nation of Islam.
This is a good question. Okay, the way that I got involved in the case, as I said earlier, was because of the conflict between Malcolm and Elijah Muhammad. And there were certain statements Malcolm had made in regards to Elijah Muhammad. Accusations that Elijah Muhammad had fathered children by other women, things like this here. A lot of other statements that was being made. And most of the Muslims at the time just actually felt that Malcolm was slandering the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, that he was defaming him, that he was lying, And this led to me really getting involved, because as I had stated in my own affidavit to the court in regards to the innocence of the other two brothers, I stated in that affidavit how I had got involved in the case, how I was approached in the first place by two brothers. I gave their names.
You were recruited, were you not?
I guess you could say yes, I was. I was approached by two brothers, brothers that I knew. I was in the Nation of Islam at the time. They were in the
Huh?
Nation
Hold
of
up.
Islam at the time.
Y'all hear that? Listen.
The assassination of conspiracy.
Brothers that I knew. I was in the Nation of Islam at the time. They were in the Nation of Islam at the time.
The assassination of conspiracy.
Brothers that I knew. I was in the Nation of Islam at the time. They were in the Nation of Islam at the time.
He said he was recruited by brothers in the Nation of Islam that he knew. I was in the nation at the time. They were in the nation at the time. He was recruited. Now listen, If you're in the nation or in an organization with somebody and they recruit you to take out one of the top lieutenants of the organization, where do you think the order came from? But in order to pull it off, it would take more than NOI. It would take more than the NOI because back then, the reason why it would take more than the NOI, because back then, the police would always be in the midst of a Malcolm speech. They followed Malcolm. They secured Malcolm. Not only Malcolm, they secured Elijah Muhammad, and they secured Martin Luther King. Back then, they would use the public resources. If there was an event and they knew that it's going to be 400 or 500 some people, they would automatically put people on detail. Follow me? That was protocol. And so in order for it to work, they would have to be in on it. They would have to be in on it. There's no other way it can work without the authorities in on it. So it's a concentrated effort. It's not one or the other. And that's the part people need to come to understand. It's not one or the other. And the problem with us as a people, we fall in love with personality so much that we can fall victim to that love affair that we have with personalities. And we wouldn't even suspect that that could be a part of the plan to take you out. And in 2024, we need to be more wiser. We need to be more wiser to not let things go over our head, not question everything, and get mad when somebody else questions it. Just consider it. Just consider it. Because as I said earlier, the brother said that initially he told the police that he wasn't even a part of these things. He wasn't even, initially that's what he told the peoples. Like right here. Initially he told the peoples that none of them had any personal motive for killing Malcolm X. That don't make sense. But they had been hired to carry out the assassination. He refused to say how much money he had been offered. He said that the man who hired him was not a Muslim either. But then, what made him change and do this interview, though? What made him to change and do the interview? Because once he do the interview lines up with the chain of events. The interview lines up with the chain of events. You follow me?
Stated in a newspaper article about an effort
This is why they
to take my life back in January, and at that time the Muslims denied it.
Why are they threatening your life?
Well, primarily because they're afraid that I will tell the real reason that I'm out of the black Muslim movement, which I never told. I kept to myself. But the real reason is that Elijah Muhammad, the head of the movement, is the father of 8 children by 6 different teenage girls.
Now, for those who doubt this, family, you're going to force me to bring out the research and show you with a ponderance of the evidence that Malcolm was not lying. Please stop saying Malcolm is lying. Please stop it. Because the moment that I go back and pull out the research and get stuff that you haven't seen before, you're going to be mad at me. Stop saying Malcolm is lying. Stop it. This is history. It's water under the bridge. Let's learn from it and move on.
6 different teenage girls who were his private personal secretary. The one who first made me aware of this was Wesley Muhammad, Mr. Muhammad's son. And it was very clear that...
And then another thing they try to do, they try to say, Wallace was this, Wallace was that, Wallace was this, Wallace was that. Stop playing. Because there's too much research out here that people have ignored. There's too much research out here that people have ignored. So stop playing. It's history. Water under the bridge. Learn from it. Move on.
If I remained in the black Muslim movement, and this came into the knowledge of his followers, that they would leave him and follow me. A plan immediately was set in motion to take me down, put me out. And the statement that I made about Kennedy was used as a pretext to take me down.
And let's talk about that. How is it that in the Nation of Islam teachings that the white man is the devil, and all of the rhetoric that Malcolm had said back in the day, that a statement about Kennedy would shut you down? That doesn't even make sense. How do people make that make sense? All the fiery speeches of Malcolm X, all of the rhetoric over the years, and that would get him suspended? That doesn't make sense. Like that's an insult. That's insulting human intelligence. But guess what? Oh, he didn't listen to his leader. He said don't speak on that. Malcolm said, nah, he wasn't never told that. He said he wasn't never told that. And then Malcolm said, I never said anything wrong. He made an analogy.
If you get out, what do you take to protect yourself from this threat? I take no steps. I have a rifle. If anybody comes to my house without a good reason, I intend to try and use it, and that's all.
And listen, royalty they say it's because he was told not to speak and it was political. Malcolm had already been in political circles, already making comments about everything was going on within the civil rights movement. So, I mean, Malcolm tells you straight up, listen, that was an excuse. That was an excuse. That was an excuse. And it makes sense. Malcolm makes more sense than the other story. I'm just saying. It makes more sense than the other story. I don't know about y'all, but it makes more sense to me. You know what I mean? I understand that you got to follow protocol to certain rules of your organization, but it doesn't make sense considering all of the rhetoric that Malcolm was putting out over the years. It just doesn't make sense. Now, let's get back to Hagen. Now, this guy here did a report. One of the guys, you can hardly see it, but one of the guys that came from, yeah, that's the guy. One of the guys that came from the temple in this temple here. Temple number 25. Right? Temple number 25. One of the guys that came from temple number 25, right? Now, in his initial conversation, temple number 25, Newark, New Jersey. In his initial conversation, everybody is trying to downplay, but they caught red-handed. Let me read a bit of his conversation real quick. They try to downplay it. Subject stated that he joined the mosque in 1959, first belonging to Mosque number 7, and then associated with the branch in Jersey City. I believe Hagen, and he exaggerated like all murderers did in 19. He didn't exaggerate, brother. It fit the story of all the witness, Shabazz. Anyway, I'm going to ignore that. Then being associated with the branch in New Jersey. He stated that he will use Muslims, he will be a Muslim until the day he dies. Being curious about Malcolm's program, he decided to attend the meeting that day, arriving at 1:45. Now listen, this guy claimed that he came from Jersey because he was interested in what Malcolm was to talk about. This is one of the guys that was pulled up. You know what I mean? And they took a report. All right, listen to this. Being curious about Malcolm's program, he decided to attend the meeting that day, arriving about 1:45 p.m. and taking a seat in the front row. Further states that he saw, took to the rear. Oh, okay. So he was basically taken to the rear of the ballroom because he was wearing an NOI pin. So this destroys the argument that NOI had nothing to do with it. I mean, it basically it's chopped up because I guess he's narrating from the guy. It's saying that I came in and got my position in the front. However, they saw and took me to the back because I was wearing an NOI pin. Y'all with me? Press 7, y'all with me so far. So NOI is in the building. So that old argument that nah, these was rogue, they wasn't members, they wasn't members. Stop it. Stop it. They wasn't members. You can't keep saying that. This is the guy telling you himself. He got the NOI pin. He was allowed to return to the front row and was seated there when the shooting started. Who took him to the front row? Who took him to the front row? The infiltrated police that was in there. This is how you know they working together. Press 7, man. Who took him to the front row? If one of Malcolm people take him to the back because he's wearing a NOI pin, right? And somebody else bring him to the front. Who brings him back to the front? Because that's his position. So this is not one or the other. This is not one or the other. They're working together. Duh. This is why, listen, let me tell you something. This is why people get mad at me. I'm very passionate in the research, right? But the reason why people get so mad at me, because I back them in the corner and they can't come out. They will only be able to make illogical responses to this. Listen, we weren't there. All of this is circumstantial, but this is logical. What people be saying is not logical. That it was just the FBI, that these were all non-members, that these was, members that was flipped, no, that's not logical. That insults human intelligence. That insults human intelligence. You follow me? Now, check this out. He was allowed to return to the front row and was seated there when the shooting started. The lot of shots, lot of shots, but he did not do anything, states that he knows Thomas 15X. Who is Thomas 15X? He states that he knows Thomas 15X. Who is Thomas 15X? Huh? Who is he? Right there. Right there. Who was Thomas 15X? He said he knows Thomas 15X. Who else did he know? Johnson A. Norman, 3X Butler. Well, he said he knows them well, but did not did not see them there that day. That's what it says. But did not see him there that day. Viewed photos when asked if he knew the identity of any person shown or if any of the persons. So there you go. He said he knew him that well, but he didn't see him that day. Now, this is how we know that's phony. Because Norman says that he was out of town. He was an out-of-towner. So if they all coming from Jersey as out-of-towners, you mean tell me you ain't gonna see him that day? That don't even make sense. That don't even make sense. Anyway, Linwood goes on. Do you know any other people in the photo was in the ballroom that day? And he answered in the negative. This denial seemed unusual because he did not identify the pictures of Johnson and Butler, although he claimed to know them all. Mr. Cathcart went on to say that Malcolm X could be compared to Benedict Arnold, and he was also a traitor, and that Allah takes care of all. He could offer no information of value of this investigation. So it looks like Mr. Linwood was throwing stuff out there, but tripping himself up, and it wasn't even making sense. It wasn't even making sense. It makes sense today when you hear Thomas' story, because he talks about the guy that was ushered to the back. And he says that guy was a part of the plan. He says that guy was a part of the plan. 1 second. Here we go.
Well, I had to change too. Hayer's naming of his co-conspirators now even stirs up the tempest further. He says he's not sure who above him in the Muslims gave the order, or if indeed it was the Muslims. Do you believe that you were used, that your deep devotion for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was used to manipulate you?
It's possible. It's possible. At the time, no one could convince me that that was the case, but I realize now that it's possible. It's very possible that I could have been a pawn. It's very possible that someone just knew I was a good candidate to, do this, and I could have been manipulated. It's hard for me to say. I couldn't say who may have done this. I really couldn't tell you who handed down the order to move on Malcolm. I really couldn't tell you. All I can tell you as much as I have told you now.
Now, this is where it get a little wishy-washy. When he said, I can't tell you who handed down the order to take out Malcolm, but he was recruited by two brothers that he'd known from the mosque. And you mean tell me, like, let's use logic. Who gave you the order? Is this coming from up top? That's not logical. That's not logical that even if you're mad at somebody, even if you're furious at somebody, and somebody recruits you and sit down and develop a plan that takes, I guess it may take days, weeks, or whatever the case may be, months, who knows, and never comes to your mind, did this come from the top? Who did this come from? And come on, did this come from the government? Who did it come from? He never said that. He just went with it. That don't make sense. That's not logical. That's not reasonable. I mean, some people would, I would imagine, but being so angry that he said that Elijah Muhammad had all these children, I can imagine. But you have to sit down and really plot out a plan. You got to know who's going to let the people in. You got to trust the people that's going to be at the door to let you walk in with the gun. You follow me? You got to trust the people at the door to let you walk in with the burner. And the people at the door that's letting you walk in is the police. Man, listen, this was a thoroughly hatched plan. This is a thoroughly hatched plan, and it's not one-sided.
I was approached. Somebody approached the people who approached me. I can't say who approached them.
You see that? He said somebody approached the people that approached me. I can't say who approached them. No, he's not going to say. Because even in his first report, he says he was never a member of the Nation of Islam. Hayer maintained that he was not and had never been a member of Elijah Muhammad's followers, nor were his accomplices to his knowledge. None of them had any personal motive for killing Malcolm. But then when people start coming up like, yeah, he was in Mosque 27. Yeah, he was at Mars 27. He was the muscle man in Mars number 27. Then he come clean. 25, I'm sorry, 25, not 27, 25. Then he comes clean. And so I think it's clear. I mean, I don't even think we should be, again, family, why are we still having this conversation, Wesley? Why are we still having this conversation? It doesn't even make sense to continue to have this conversation. You follow me? It doesn't. Listen, in this book right here, shout out to Omar. In this book right here, it breaks it down about the guy with the pen. Here we go. Nobody was supposed to be carrying a gun. That was the orders. Too. Though the policy caused furious debate among the brothers, and several of them bought their pieces anyway. Screening at the door was cursory. Malcolm, angry at the press, had directed that the reporters be barred that day. 2 black newsmen showed up, and they were asked to remove their press badges, and then they were passed inside. 1 white man was stopped and asked if he was a reporter. Yeah, he lied, unaware that the ruling, no reporters allowed. A guard told him. He stood there a moment, then walked on past the man who stopped him. This is why it's a whole. Do y'all understand that it's a concerted effort? It's not one or the other. That's my argument. Wesley's argument that it's just the FBI, the CIA, and the New York City Police. I'm saying no. This could not happen with just one side. No. Now, he walked past. Nobody checked it, or him. A Muslim from New Jersey with a Fruit of Islam pin, that's Leonard, gleaming in his lapel, somehow slipped through unnoticed and took a seat down front. Somebody in the guard detail finally spotted him and asked him to step to the rear, where a couple of brothers questioned him. He told them he had been getting disillusioned with the nation and its teachings. Then they asked him to put the FOI pin in his pocket. Then they let him return to his seat without a search or even special instructions of the brothers to keep an eye on him. You see what I'm talking about? See, these are 2 different sources. These are 2 different sources that I'm showing you that this could not happen without both parties playing a part. This could not happen. There's no way that this could happen without both parties playing a part. That's just how it go. You follow what I'm saying? Now, when we look at things like, let's look at this.
75 police came over to kill all that they could of my followers and Mosque number 27. We know that we're going to lose a few, but we know that God's going to kill all of you.
Now, we say that we don't, well, in the NOI, they say they don't believe in a mystery God. You follow me? They say they don't believe in a mystery God. Let me run this back.
75 police came over to kill all that they could of my followers.
Now, this was in L.A. where a situation happened where the police just let off. And in this, under these set of circumstances, Malcolm wanted to go and get busy. Word is that he was told to stand down. The wild thing about this is, as I said before, when you look at the history from the 50s all the way up to the 80s, you never see any drama, response, retaliation to Europeans. You never. But the moment that one disagrees, or even today, give another take on the chain of events, you hear everybody turn gangster, killer, and savage. When I say present your evidence to the contrary, and then we got something happening. But when you got the police, you said, Dr. Westley is not thorough, bro. Brother Ian Muhammad, Dr. Westley is not thorough. I need y'all to stop that. He's not thorough. He's only reading and giving his take on something. He's not giving any logic to it, and it's one side cherry picking. He's not thorough. He's not thorough. He's not thorough. And I'm going to show you he's not thorough. Listen, when Wesley Muhammad said that NOI was basically, he implied that NOI was vindicated because of the case that Malcolm Children had put on the city. Like, nah, it's not the case. I keep telling y'all that he's not thorough. Anybody, listen, a shadow boxer is only good as his wind. You know what I'm saying? It's only good as his wind. A shallow boxer is only good as his wind. That's it. A shadow boxer, he looks as good as his stamina. But if you get in the real ring, you're going to have more than stamina and swinging at shadows. I invite Wesley Muhammad to debate the topic. I invite him. We can debate the topic. We can debate. Listen, all I'm doing is pulling out receipts. You said his what do you say? Volumes of receipts and official files. But what are the files saying? We know that the government was involved. Ian, that's not what we're saying. We're not saying that the government was not involved. I'm saying that this couldn't happen without the participation of NOI, and I'm talking about functional NOI. I'm talking about FOI. I'm talking about leadership giving the go. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that it's one or the other. I'm saying it's both, and it can be proven. And it can be proven. I don't have enough hours in the day to do it on this show because I'm going to try to break down a couple good points. But even to when you look at the report, the lawsuit, NOI Lieutenant William Bradley and NOI members Leon Davis, Thomas Hagen, that's Thomas, Benjamin Thomas, Wilbur McKinley, and co-conspirators who acted together in conspiracy with some of the name FBI. So when Wesley Muhammad says it was the government, and I love the report, I'm gonna go and get that clip. He says, I love the report because what the report does, it basically, and I don't want to misquote him, but basically it clears NOI. The report does not clear NOI. It does not clear NOI. Co-conspirators within the NOI. That's jackpot right there. 79. And these were registered members during the time. I'm just calling it what it is, family. And so when Westley make a statement like this,
don't stop at the FBI. The FBI and the CIA had a liaison in this Malcolm X operation. It was a joint operation.
And when he say joint operation, he's trying to leave out NOI. I'm saying no. You cannot leave out NOI. It doesn't work without the NOI. Somebody say how Elijah benefit from Malcolm's death. Malcolm, when Malcolm joined, they had like 400 members. What do you mean, how can Elijah benefit? When Malcolm joined, they had like 400 members. After Malcolm joined, there was 40,000. What do you mean, Healthy Edge? How would he benefit? Duh. Come on, man. That's not a good question, Healthy Edge. That's not a good question. How would he benefit? If Malcolm would keep talking, remember, Malcolm implied that there are bodies that are buried. Let's talking about murders. Malcolm directly said that they know I know too much. They got to get rid of me. He directly said, he know, as Clyde Parker said, I know all the secrets. See, you have to understand that Malcolm was the driving force behind the nation. When people see the nation with all those sisters in those white garbs and all of those FOI, that was from the work of Malcolm. Before Malcolm, the nation wasn't that. They had been around, but they wasn't that. And anybody in the nation that deny that, they tripping. They tripping. Listen, what I'm saying, Paige, is this. When Malcolm joined the movement, Paige, when Malcolm joined the movement, his energy most likely vibrated through all the ministers, and they would begin to mimic themselves after Malcolm's style. So what would happen is yes, Malcolm was the driving force, but Malcolm would motivate even the ministers to keep up with him. To keep up with him. You follow what I'm saying? So this is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's just a logical explanation. Healthy Edge. I'm not going to argue with you today, brother. I'm not going to argue. It's not about numbers, brother. I'm making a point. You asked me why. Of course, you're going to ask me to do a lot. Let me answer this question. Healthy Edge says, so you think Elijah care about numbers? Of course he didn't care about numbers. He cared more about his reputations, though. But of course he care about numbers. Without numbers, there is no movement. The power is in the people. The resources in the people. The resources in the people. The more people, the more you got the ability to accomplish your goal. Whatever goal that is. If the goal is swindling, the more people, the better. If it's building a nation, the more people, the better. What are you talking about? Do Elijah care about numbers? It's called the Nation of Islam, for goodness sakes. Healthy Edge. You don't have a healthy edge right now, brother. You tripping. It's called the Nation of Islam. Of course. Come on, man. Healthy Edge, stop it, man. You're doing too much. I mean,
because the order came from the White House. The order didn't come from J. Edgar Hoover or Richard Helms of the CIA. J. Edgar Hoover and Richard Helms were carrying out an executive order.
And the part that he's leaving out is that, yes, they were carrying out an executive order. But in order to carry this out, they had to be in concert with the NOI. It doesn't work without the NOI. So whether it's an executive order from the White House, whether it's an executive order or an order from the CIA, the FBI, it does not work without the NOI. That's the bottom line. '95 promotion. Was the OAAU or MMI involved in this event as well? You know Malcolm had infiltrators in his organization. Come on, man. Come on. That's just a given. That's just a given. We know that. It's a given that he's going to have infiltrators in his organization because he's one of the most influential speakers and most powerful person at that time as it relates to liberation, in the form of liberation which he's talking. So, of course, he's going to have infiltrators there. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, Cryptonomics said Moorish World TV, NOI was complicit involved because I'm sure FBI, CIA was looking into the deaths as well. And killing Malcolm was an exchange to overlook. Listen. When you do the deeper research about, unbiased research about the Nation of Islam, all the way back in the 30s, there has always been some hint of it's being powered by an indivisible hand. And that's just the fact of the matter. Even in the 30s, it's like when you look at the picture of, let me pull this up real quick. When you look at the picture of Farad, right? And when you look at the picture of Farad Muhammad, right? And one would tell you in the NOI that, okay, hold up. All right. Let me tell you how people do this, right? This is how strange this is, right? Let me pull this up real quick. All right. Now, when you look at the picture of Farad Muhammad, right, here it comes. Now, the picture that everybody look at, one second, let me pull him up real quick. Let me pull him up real quick. Here we go. And we talked about this before on the channel, but I want to underscore something real quick. I want to really underscore something real quick. All right, here we go. So listen, this is not strange to anybody. You know what I mean? When you look at the picture of Farad Muhammad, right? Farad Muhammad. This is the picture that everybody know him for. But this is not him per se. This is a painting. This is a painting. This is not him. You follow what I'm saying? This is not him. So why would this one be portrayed as him? Now, the person that got locked up with Elijah Muhammad is this guy. They got locked up. It's this guy. This is a painting. Clarence Poole, you don't even know you don't even know your God in the person, do you? This is a painting. This is the person that got locked up with Elijah Muhammad on the right-hand side. This guy, he got locked up. This can be proven also. And so when Elijah Muhammad says, prove to me that this guy that was locked up in California is Master Farad Muhammad. And he got this picture in the paper. Huh? No, this is the guy. Hold up. Let me see. Let me see if I can pull it. Let me see what he said. Locked up with Elijah? I doubt that. Oh, no, you can't doubt that. You can't doubt that. 1 second. All right. Hold up. I'm trying to pull it up. You know what? Oogly. Let me pull him up. That's what I mean. See if I could get him real quick. I ain't got the picture on me. But the one that got locked up is UGLI, if I'm not mistaken. But this is not, people say, Clarence saying, oh, this is him. No, it's not. This is a painting. Who won? Ian Muhammad. Do you want to debate that? You want to debate? I bet you I can prove to you that it's him. I bet you I can prove it. You back using stunt doubles. Wally Farad, not the same person, sir. Do you want to debate that? I debate you on that. I've done a whole tracing. I can prove, and brothers in the nation, elders in the nation know that this is a painting. They know that. You might don't know that. This is the one that got locked up. No. This is how this painting was given, and I think it was done by one of Elijah Muhammad's son. This is how it was originally given to the people. And if I'm not mistaken, it was done by one of Elijah Muhammad's sons, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. But this is the guy that was teaching. This is the guy that fingerprints that they got. This is the guy. And like you can come up with straw man arguments all you want, but the evidence, it is what it is. The evidence is what it is. You can come up with straw man arguments all you want. I'm going to destroy all straw man arguments. I'm going to destroy them. He said this painting was touched up. Nope. Listen, I've been around since 1990. Nope. You want to come on the show, Ian Muhammad? When you want to come on the show? Give me some topics you want to debate. You want to debate that this is a painting? Huh? Give me some topics you want to debate. We can debate, and I'm gonna have the NOI tell you what it is. That's what I'm gonna do. I ain't gonna tell you. I'm gonna just screen share. Will you cover other conspirators of the assassination? Of course. The only 95 promotion. Look. 95 promotion. Let me say this. You put something in the comment section about the Malcolm lied on him about the girls. So now I'm going to do the research on the girls that accuse Elijah Muhammad of the affairs. I'm going to do a whole show on that. You know what I'm saying? Now, the reason why 95 promotions, the reason why I chose to get into this conversation is because over the years, I had watched Wesley Muhammad try to vindicate NOI in a conversation that should be long gone and dead. However, I didn't see anybody giving any proper responses to a lot of the rhetoric and a lot of his, what he would call his research and his receipts. I didn't see people doing that. So what I chose to do is say, hold up, man, is anybody going to speak up for Malcolm? You know what I mean? Clyde Pecker said it was a painting designed after his criminal appearance and tried to make him look divine. You know what I mean? So I was like, is anybody going to speak up for Malcolm? So that's where I'm at with this 95 Promotions. But of course, Malcolm had infiltrators in his organization. It couldn't happen without it. But the whole conversation here is to try to act like somebody got clean hands. Nah, ain't no clean hands. Ain't no clean hands. Not in the Malcolm situation. I mean, y'all know Steve Coakley, my man, right? Somebody said I'd like to do a Steve Coakley breakdown. Y'all know Steve Coakley, my man. It was very unfortunate, though. Only thing about Steve Coakley had some indulgence, and he was easy to pick off. He was exposing, but his indulging in certain lifestyles made him easy pickings for the powers that be. It made them easy pickings. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to have conversations like this, you can't be you can't have ulterior substances. You can't be distracted. You can't be, because I'm gonna tell you, no one wants to hear this type of truth, even today. But the difference between today and yesterday, the authorities said that they will no longer stop the revolution with blood. And then you will see that it is said that Bob Marley, he was stuck with a pen and ended up with cancer. You will see Dr. Khalid Muhammad, he ended up with an aneurysm. You will see Arafat ended up with an aneurysm. You know what I'm saying? And so this is why a person that is having conversations such as this, man, you can't trust anything. Because again, it's not like back in the day somebody have a shotgun and somebody have a shotgun. Let me Clyde Parker say they had AIDS or whatever the case may be. Somebody have a shotgun in a trash bag walking down the street. It don't happen like that. You know what I mean? Naps TV say you don't have to. Farrakhan put all of Elijah once preteen baby mamas on stage to bash Malcolm and legitimize his chest ways. No. But we got to go to what really happened. See, Naps TV. Betty Shabazz made a statement that she's sorry that she ever met Farrakhan. That's what she said. However, before she passed away, they did a fundraiser at the request of the minister. Let me tell you something. The trials of life will sometimes have you flexible on your principles if you don't have a strong foundation and a strong faith. So just because the women come forth 50 years later and act as if that they're a wife that no one knew about during the time, don't even make sense. Don't even make sense. If these women was wives, why nobody knew about them? If these women or young sisters, if they were wives, why they were never brought on stage? The only one that everyone knew about during that time was Claire. And if these women was wives, I get the names, I get the age, and we trace it back, we got the teenagers. So, I mean, let's not have this conversation. No, No, listen, I'm talking right now. You must ain't seen my show. You must have just came in, Ian. Ian, let me show you something, Ian. Let me show you something, Ian. You got me wrong. You got me wrong. This is not no barbershop talk. This is not no barbershop talk. You got me wrong. I just gave a whole hour and a half of sources, conversations, commentary, and paper, and you say I'm like barbershop talk. You make me block you, Ian, talking goofy. You make me block you talking goofy. Don't you ever do that, man. Compare me with no barbershop talk. And listen, I said, don't you ever compare me with this guy. You know what I mean? Don't you ever compare me with this guy. Brother, let me show you something. I told you. Listen, I got the Ray Wood confession, what we read on the other show. The barbershop talk had this. Here's the Ray Wood confession. Bro, you tripping saying something like that. Yeah, you tripping. Here's the Ray Wood confession. Wesley talked about Ray Wood confession. I actually showed the Ray Wood confession and read it. What are you talking about? This is the Ray Wood confession. Raymond Wood. What are you talking about? Wesley only talked about the confession. I actually screenshotted the confession. Did you read Ray Wood's book? No, I'm not even aware of his book. Are you sure you're not talking about his cousin? I think his cousin. No, I didn't read it, brother. I just read his confession. Not only that, right? Hold up. Let me show him something else. Not only that, I also, he going to compare me with that guy, man. He tripping. I also went over, Wesley talked about the, hold on one second. Wesley talked about the complaint, right? Wesley talked about the complaint. Listen, I actually showing the complaint, went over the complaint. Now, I couldn't go over the whole thing because, again, it's 85 pages. But let me show you what Wesley did. Don't talk about no Wesley to me. Let me show you what Wesley did. This is what Wesley did. This is exactly what Wesley did. I'm glad that I read all 83 pages of the complaint. And I feel good that these cases are going against the government. And I also feel good that it clears the Minister Farrakhan, the Nation of Islam, and I read all 83 pages. So yes, I'm relieved. Yes. The Minister Farrakhan says, read 83 pages. It was the government. Shout out to Wesley. I'm just playing, man. Brothers in NOI gonna get mad. You know they already mad at me, man. Listen. You know they already mad at me. Let me say this, family. NOI just gonna have to be upset. Cause there was one time that Elijah Muhammad made of a statement and said that he liked Prophet Noble Drew Ali, but Prophet Noble Drew Ali didn't know enough to teach Islam. I said, what? I say, what? Huh? Ian, if I'm trolling the nation, then Wesley is trolling Malcolm. Is that right? Didn't I just tell you? Hold up. I'm about to get out of here. Listen, if I'm trolling the nation, then that would mean that Wesley is trolling Malcolm. On Vlad 7 years ago, saying that Malcolm X was in violation of the Black Protocol? Oh, yeah. Did the Moorish Science Temple of America teach Elijah? Of course. Without the Moorish Science Temple of America, there would be no Nation of Islam. And that's a fact. Nation of Islam is a collective of Ahmadiyya, Christian Church, Moorish Science Temple of America, and Jehovah's Witness. And it can be proven. But most of the elements come out of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Family, if you understand Orthodox Islam, right, on any level, show me in America before Prophet Noble Drew Ali or around the world where it was accustomed to call a place of worship a temple. I can show you around the world. What is the place of worship of a Muslim? We know what it is. It's a mosque, masjid. Prophet Noble Drew Ali named the Moorish Science Temple. Ian, you got a lot of mouth. Moorish science is not supreme wisdom. Come on the show, debate me. I can show you where all the supreme wisdom came from. Did you know what's funny about Ian Muhammad? Ian Muhammad said Moorish science is not supreme wisdom. Ian Muhammad, the distance from the earth of the sun did not come with Farah Muhammad, brother. They been knew the distance from the sun. Do you think that's supreme wisdom because someone tell you the distance from the sun? That's old information. You think somebody tell you the difference in the circumference of the earth? How to eat to live? Are you kidding me? Hold up. Family, don't make me break down on How to Eat to Live book. Ian, don't make me break down on the How to Eat to Live book. You're eating eggs, Ian. You're eating eggs. You're eating animals, man. Ian, stop. Man, you're going to give me too many shows, Ian. Ian, you're going to give me too many shows. All that white sugar and them bean pies, stop playing, Ian. How to Eat to Live. Come on, man. Stop, Ian. You're giving me too much content. Don't make me break down these books, brother. I got all the books. Don't make me do it. Don't make me do it. That ain't no How to Eat to Live when you break down the science of the food that's in them books. Don't you do that, Ian. How to Eat to Live ain't nothing supreme about that, brother. I don't want to bash nobody and I don't want to shame nobody. But, brother, if you make me go through the book on How to Eat to Live and we put the knowledge to the test, let me tell you something. The knowledge of How to Eat to Live from a Moorish science perspective, the ultimate goal is to be vegan and not kill to live. That's the ultimate goal. That's not saying that everybody has able to reach that goal. But how to eat to live in the Moorish Science Temple of America is understood to be vegan and not to kill for you to live. So you talk about how to eat to live. You eat life to bring life. You eat life to bring life. You don't eat death and then think you're going to have life. You want to talk about some supreme knowledge? Come on. Come on. Debate me on how to eat to live. I guarantee you, and we can put it next to the Moorish Science Temple of America. Put the supreme wisdom next to the Moorish Science Temple of America. I don't care if you eat 1 meal a day or 1 meal a month. If it's not the right food, what difference is it? You put death into your body, you beget death. Let me tell you something. If it bleed, I don't need. Now, so I don't eat fish. You hear what I say? I don't eat no kind of meat. You hear what I say? So all the fisheries, you can have 1 meal a day with some fish, with all that mercury. So what's more supreme? I don't eat fish. I don't eat anything that walks, swim, or crawl. I don't eat anything. And I do my best, I don't eat any kind of fish, Clarence Poole. I don't eat no kind of fish. What you mean, what kind of fish? Nope, I don't eat eggs. Nope. How about that? So let's talk about how to eat the live. You don't want to do that, man. You don't want to do that. I love my brothers in NOI, man. I'm just saying, man, this is a new day and time, brother. I mean, now. And guess what? My wife, same way. My children, same way. You want me to bring my wife on here? I can bring my wife on here. My wife, same way. My children, same way. Look, listen, I took my son I'm going to let you go with this. Listen, I took my son to the dentist, right, the other day. And the people in the dentist like, Happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your turkey. My son was like, oh, ew, Daddy. I'm not having no turkey. He's 5 years old. I ain't having no turkey. And they looked at him like, huh? I said, and so my job now is to not allow my son to impose on other people's culture because of how he was raised. So, but I got him young though. But he's like, I'll eat no turkey. I'll bring my son on here. He'll tell you. But with that being said, man, shout out Ian Muhammad. You made the show fun. Shout out to Cryptonomics. Shout out to all my people, family. I've been busy today, family. I'm really getting busy. Azim Shabazz, man, I appreciate each and one of y'all. Man, where my guy at, man? Hey, Crip, where my guy that ex, brother, that was the mod, brother? Where is he, man? Man, he think I blocked him or something, man, but he got blocked off, man. Where's my mod, man, from the NOI, brother X? I haven't seen him. Not Abu X, no, brother. Come on, man, the brother that was the mod, the other mod. Man, I forget his name. Man. I hope he's out there listening, man, because I didn't block him, man. I was trying to find his page to yeah, man, but I didn't take his wrench. I never took his wrench. That happened with the, man, I missed that brother, man. I never took his wrench. That was my guy. I remember you, Crip, when you lost your wrench, too. Man, I forget his name. Man, I'm sorry, brother. Brother, if you're around, brother, email me, brother. You my guy. You my balance on the show. You the balance on the show, brother. I need a brother from the NOI to keep me balanced on it. Stephen X. There you go. Stephen X. That's who it is, Ephraim Cole. Ephraim about to get that wrench, man. I need your help. Stephen X. Yeah, Stephen X, man. You kept me balanced, man, because you love. See, one thing I like about Stephen X is that he loved Elijah Muhammad and the NOI, but he He never took it personal with the demonstration, man. But this was a
If this was another genre like entertainment news, this would have millions and millions of views. This is a masterpiece. This.
Hey, family, hold up, family. I don't know if I'm gonna do the Jive Turkey Awards tomorrow or Saturday. I should do it tomorrow. I got to look at my schedule. I got it ready. I got to look at my schedule. But Jive Turkey Awards is the friend. A friend of mine. I was told to watch my enemies, now hold my line. Royalty. Don't speak against the prophet, they speak against me. And I'm speaking about the prophet over Drew I. Who was the first to remind you and bind you back to Morocco, the mountains, Mississippi, and Quebec. Told you you wasn't black, proved it was straight
If
back.
this was another genre like entertainment news, it would have millions and millions of views. This is a masterpiece. This man.
Yes, indeed, Tara Williams.
Step into a world where style meets comfort. Welcome to Divine Apparel, your ultimate destination for trendy fashion that speaks to your soul. Whether you're looking for the perfect t-shirt to express your personality, a stylish snapback to complete your look, or a cozy hoodie for those chill days, we've got you covered. At Divine Apparel, we believe that every piece should empower you. Divine Apparel, where your style is a reflection of who you are.
Let me ask you, who doing it like Tiger Bay? Nobody. Who the people's grand sheep? I am. Huh? Show me a boy doing it like Tiger Bay. Ain't none. And I shut my mouth.
This harvest season, it's time to gather the wisdom and knowledge that will nourish your spirit and elevate your mind. The Moorish Science Temple of America, Noble Temples, is excited to present our annual harvest season sale, a special opportunity to deepen your understanding of Moorish science, history, and teachings. For a limited time, get the bundle, a collection valued at nearly $60, on sale for just $50. This powerful package includes the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, the questionnaire, the essential guide to understanding your divine science and heritage, the divine constitution and bylaws, the foundation of Moorish law and order, the additional laws, plus the Moorish Literature Noble Temples Expanded Edition, with over 60 pages of in-depth history, writings, and teachings from the early days of the Moorish Science Temple of America. These sacred texts have inspired generations and are now available at an unbeatable price. Whether you're deepening your knowledge or sharing the wisdom with others, this bundle is an invaluable resource for your journey. Visit at www.mstofA.nobletemples.com today and don't miss out on this opportunity to uplift your mind and soul. The harvest season. Sale ends soon. Secure your bundle before it's too late. The Moorish Science Temple, nourishing your spirit, guiding your path.
And I shut my mouth. Let's go. I can't wait to see boy band sit him on his